Welcome to another startup and complete car documentation. What we're looking at today is a 2003 Dodge Dakota SLT quad cab. This Dakota quad cab is painted in bright white clear coat.
On the remote fob, you have the buttons for lock, unlock, and panic. The front door panels have storage areas. And on this one you do get power windows, locks, and mirrors.
This one is the dark slate gray interior color scheme with cloth appointed seats.
And now let's go ahead and start the engine. This one has a pretty nice custom exhaust as well.
The Dodge Dakota was Chrysler's foray into the midsize pickup truck segment, slotting below the full-size Dodge Ram. Despite competing with compact trucks of its time like the Ford Ranger and Chevy S10, the Dakota offered things that those other trucks didn't, namely the availability of V8 power. Overall, the Dakota was produced for 3 generations, spanning from model years 1987 through 2011. This 2003 model we have here represents the Dakota's second generation, which was produced from model years 1997 through 2004. The second-gen Dakota definitely has much more rounded and muscular styling than the outgoing generation, and no doubt said styling took some inspiration from the second-gen Dodge Ram that came out in '94. The second-gen Dakota also provides the basis for the first-generation Dodge Durango SUV. Of course, the second-gen Dakota did get some changes and revisions throughout its run, including changes to the powertrain options. For 2001, it got a new interior. For 2003, the Dakota came in all 3 of the second generation's body styles: regular cab, club cab or extended cab, and quad cab like this one, which as you can see is a crew cab. Trim levels for '03 included Base, SXT, Sport, SLT, and RT. For the US market 2003 Dakota range, you could choose between 3 different engines depending on the trim level, 1 V6 and 2 V8s. The base V6 displaced 3.9 liters and made 175 horsepower. The mid-range engine was a 4.7-liter V8 like in this one, which made 235 horsepower. Finally, you could also get a 5.9-liter V8 which could make up to 250 horsepower. As for transmissions, the V6 could have either a 5-speed manual or a 4-speed auto. The smaller V8 could be paired up with either a 5-speed manual or a 5-speed auto, whereas the 5.9-liter V8 models were 4-speed automatic only. Available drivetrains, of course, were rear-wheel drive and 4-wheel drive. In Dodge's 2003 US pickup truck lineup, the midsize Dakota was the smallest, slotting below the full-size half-ton Ram 1500.
So starting with the instrument cluster, you have 6 analog gauges: your tachometer, speedometer, fuel gauge, temperature gauge, voltage gauge, and oil pressure gauge. With this button you can toggle between your trip computer and your odometer. The hazard switch is located on the top of the steering column. It has a 4-spoke design steering wheel. There are grips all around the rim. And the steering wheel does house your cruise control. The steering wheel is tilt only. The vehicle's parking brake is foot operated. You have your headlight switch, air vent for the driver. There are grab handles on both A-pillars. Right here is your high beam, turn signal, and wiper stock. It does have a column gear shifter. Button on the end is for overdrive. Going down the center of the interior, you have air vents on either side. Right here is your radio head unit. It is AM/FM with a CD player as well. Your simple single zone climate controls, little storage areas on either side. Got a power outlet. Got a little center console of sorts with some storage, a couple storage trays, and 2 cup holders. It does have bench seating, so a third person can sit in the center. You have a folding center armrest, which also includes some storage. Only the passenger sun visor has a vanity mirror. Overhead lighting and a place to put things. Now we'll go ahead and roll down the driver's window and take a look at the engine bay. The driver's window is automatic down.
This SLT has 16-inch 5-split-spoke rims. Powering this Dakota SLT is the available Magnum 4.7-liter naturally aspirated V8 engine. It's a single overhead cam 16-valve power plant with an iron block and aluminum heads. From factory, it puts out 235 horsepower at 4,800 RPM and a healthy 295 pound-feet of torque at 3,200 RPM. This one is paired to the optional 5-speed automatic transmission with low gear selection, and with this Dakota being a 2-wheel drive, that power is sent solely to the rear wheels. It runs on regular unleaded, and quad cab models use a 24-gallon fuel tank. EPA estimates for Dakotas equipped like this one are roughly 14 mpg city and 19 highway. It has an independent short and long arm front suspension and a solid rear axle with leaf springs. It also uses 4-wheel disc brakes for 03.
As you saw earlier, the fuel cap is on the driver's side. Rear seat bases do fold up. There's a storage pocket on the back of the front passenger seat. A couple grab handles back here. So as for back seat space, I'm about 6'1", and well, with the driver's seat where I would have it if I was driving roughly, legroom is not very good, obviously. As you can see, pretty cramped, but that's of course with the driver's seat pretty far back. But headroom is actually not too bad. My head is not quite touching the roof. If you got someone smaller in front of you, or if you yourself are smaller, then it might not be this cramped. These are just with my current circumstances.
The quad cab has a 5.5-foot bed with 38.1 cubic feet of space.
Anyhow, thanks for checking out this tour of this 2003 Dodge Dakota. And as always, stay on the lookout for future tours.